In 2006, an unusual young man was discovered wandering the streets of Kyiv, Ukraine. He appeared disoriented, wearing outdated clothes from another era and carrying a vintage camera that looked like it belonged in a museum. Passers-by assumed he was just another eccentric. But what unfolded was something far stranger than anyone could imagine. When questioned by local authorities, the man identified himself as Sergey Ponomarenko. But things took a bizarre turn when he handed over an ID, one issued by the Soviet Union, a nation that had ceased to exist over 15 years earlier. What's more shocking, despite looking barely 25, his birth year was listed as 1932. The photograph on the ID, an exact match. To dig deeper, police brought Sergey in for psychological evaluation. He insisted he wasn't insane. In fact, he was just as confused as everyone else. According to Sergey, he had simply gone out in 1958 for a walk to take photographs around the city. That's when he saw a strange object flying overhead, something indescribable. Acting on instinct, he snapped a photo. And suddenly, everything changed. The next thing he remembered, waking up in 2006. Doctors were skeptical until Sergey handed over his camera. It wasn't just any old camera, it was a Yashica Flex, a rare model from the 1950s, still in pristine condition. Inside was a roll of film that had been discontinued decades ago. The film was carefully developed, and what they found left everyone stunned. The photos depicted Kyiv from a bygone era. Vintage cars, buildings that had been demolished long ago, and most eerily, photos of Sergey himself with a woman, right in front of one of those long-lost structures. And in the final frame, a blurred flying object, just like Sergey had described. Now convinced that this case was anything but ordinary, the authorities launched a deeper investigation. Records showed that a man named Sergey Ponomarenko had indeed gone missing in 1960. The woman in the photos, now a 70-year-old, was found. She confirmed everything. Sergey had mysteriously vanished in 1958, reappeared for a short time, then disappeared forever in 1960. But the mystery didn't end there. Years later, she received a photograph postmarked 2015. In it, Sergey looked older, but the background skyline was modern, filled with skyscrapers that hadn't existed in his time. Scrawled on the back was a haunting message: "I'll be back soon." This entire story aired on a Ukrainian TV show about paranormal events. The episode quickly went viral. People were left asking, was this real or a well-staged hoax? To answer that, we need to understand the science behind time travel. Is time travel even possible? Believe it or not, yes, at least into the future. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time isn't constant. It can speed up or slow down depending on two factors: gravity and speed. The faster you move, the slower time moves for you relative to others. This was proven in 1971 when synchronized atomic clocks were flown around the Earth on planes. When compared to clocks left on the ground, the ones on the aircraft showed slight time discrepancies. Time had literally moved differently. Another way to manipulate time: massive gravitational forces. In areas with intense gravity, like near a black hole, time slows down drastically. This phenomenon inspired scenes in the film Interstellar, where an hour near a black hole equaled 7 years on Earth. Even today, GPS satellites must account for time dilation, orbiting at high speeds and distances from Earth's gravity. Their internal clocks constantly drift and must be recalibrated to keep our phones accurate. So yes, science tells us that time travel into the future is theoretically real, but traveling back in time, that's where things get murky. Back to Sergey's story. Fact or fiction? As Sergey's story went viral, skeptics began picking it apart. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed the date stamp on the hospital footage said Wednesday, April 23rd, 2006. But April 23rd that year actually fell on a Sunday, hinting the video may have been faked. Further analysis of his Soviet ID revealed inconsistencies in the stamp, unlike any authentic ones from that era. And the 2015 photo, it was likely photoshopped with duplicated buildings in the skyline. To this day, there's no official police report, no medical record of a doctor, Pablo Marino, and no trace of Sergey Ponomarenko outside of that TV episode. So was it all an elaborate hoax to boost ratings? Many believe so. But still, the story lingers. Even if time travel into the future is possible, going backward poses a serious problem: the paradox. If you went back and prevented your own birth or destroyed the time machine before it was made, how could you have traveled in the first place? This contradiction is called the time travel paradox, and it's why many physicists dismiss backward time travel as impossible. Even the great Stephen Hawking once held a party for time travelers, but only sent the invitations out after the event had happened. No one came. His point: if reverse time travel were real, someone would have shown up. So, was Sergey Ponomarenko a man lost in time, or just a character in a cleverly written fiction? We may never know the truth, but the mystery continues to capture imaginations, because deep down we all wonder, what if time isn't as linear as we think? Truth really is stranger than fiction. Hit like, drop a comment, and follow Cognos Chronicles for more videos like this. See you in the next one.